While you're taking selfies of him, I'm going to take selfies of you. There we go. All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Heidi Daniel, President and CEO of the Pratt Free Library here in beautiful Baltimore City. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of the Brown Lecture Series featuring Billy Dee Williams. We, of course, have a sold-out crowd tonight. And I want to thank the people who make this free lecture series possible. So thank you to Eddie and Sylvia Brown. Your generosity is truly inspiring. Tonight's program is one of the many we have coming up here at the Pratt Library. On March 4th, we'll welcome sports writer Roland Lazenby, who will talk about his biography of basketball legend Magic Johnson. And on April 25th, Pratt Writers Live welcomes former Obama White House Social Security Secretary Deisha Dyer with her book, Undiplomatic. Also in April, we'll kick off a month of magical events with the Nation celebration. On April 6th, we'll turn the entire Central Library into a storybook as part of our kickoff event for our littlest readers. You won't want to miss it because it's truly magical. And now for tonight's main event. Billy Dee Williams is a legendary actor who has starred in 40 movies, 7 Broadway plays, and has made more than 40 television shows and TV movies. From his role of a lifetime in Brian's Song to becoming the first Black character in Star Wars universe, it's truly an honor to be on stage with Lando for me as a Star Wars fan. He's talking all about it in his new memoir, What Have We Here? You'll all receive copies of the books this evening.
Tonight, he has been conversation for Persona Wise White host today, Dr. K on WEAA. So please welcome Billy Dee Williams and Dr. K. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want us to sit here for a second, sisters. Okay? Billy Dee Williams. Come on. Now, I can't be the only one here that had my first crush on Billy Dee Williams. I can't be the only one here when you sit on that floor. I was like, no, baby, I won't. I can't be the only one here when you sit on that floor. I said, what do we have here?
It's very hard to for a year, whatever happened today. The radio and the telephone and the movies that we know may just be passing fancies, and time may go, but oh my dear, to stay together with going a long, long way. In time, the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble. They're only made of clay, but our love is here.
Like 16 of you here. I usually take a second and touch my married ring, right? I'm like, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. So, Billy Dee Williams. I have so many things. Yes. My questions, probably all of my But I want to start with the fact that you have done so much. 40 movies, over 40 television shows. You have been in this space. You are the sex symbol, not just my mother's generation, but my generation. In the book, you talked about being the Black Clark Gable. We have people trying to fight what you did. Because you has become that line. Can you talk about what that means to grow into what you said you wanted to be in the book? This kind of black sex symbol, Black Clark Gable, and how you've been able to do that.
I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about things. I just figure you give me something to do, and I'll try to do the best I can. I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about black or white. In the book, I kind of allude to it, and I talk about being the full spectrum of colors. And as a painter, you learn a lot about shading, about gradations, and things of that nature. I get everything and everyone. Every entity in this life has a purpose, and beyond anything, sometimes we can imagine. So I tend to include everything. Even though, I know there are people who have a lot of grievances who have spent a lot of time nurturing those grievances, just like we look at it. You can't spend my whole life being pissed off. I have to use my energy in a much more progressive and interesting way. And I want to be using my energy to be more innovative and, to go around through all of those things that we find ourselves married in, locked in. Energy is a wonderful thing, and I think for me anyway, it's a wonderful thing, and I want to use it properly. My version of properly.
I want to talk to you about one of the specific things you said in the book, and you're going to enjoy reading the book, people. I've read it twice already. But you talk about Lady Sings the Blues and mahogany. And there are two questions I want to ask you. The first is that there was this idea that Berry Gordy had that mahogany would be the happy ending for the couple in Lady Sings the Blues that you didn't get. So can you talk about working with Diana Ross? Because you talk about the tension, the sexual tension between you, and how every time you go to kiss her, Berry Gordy would step up to Lady Sings the Blues, stop it. Kiss her, it's fine. So can you talk about that?
Well, Barry, when he hired me for that character, Louis McKay, I did a screen test. I was really totally ridiculous. It was terrible. But he saw the chemistry between myself and Diana, because we really had a lot of fun with each other. We were like really little kids playing a game, so it worked out just great. But certainly, when I had to kiss her, which I really thoroughly enjoyed, I think he obviously recognized that there was a little bit of enjoyment going on. So he wanted to cut it short. We had a lot of fun. And he's a wonderful person. Harry Gordy, well, I ended up being under contract with him for 7 years. But the thing, and I ended up playing him in that thing we did about the Jackson 5. I ended up, and I always thought I was the only one who could really play him because he's very whimsical, very, and he's like a little, when he gets excited, he's like a kid, and he wants to like pursue it, really develop it. He's got a great mind. But anyway, I forget what I was talking about.
It's okay. But you just kind of talk a little bit.
I want to go back to the sexual tension with Diana Ross, but I think you had moved on from that.
Oh.
But just your relationship with Berry Gordy. And here he is as someone who's a whimsical character. You were able to play him, but you also have this incredible relationship with him that you built over time. Can you talk a little bit about that relationship building, because you took that into the roles that you play?
Well, we always joked about the fact that it was better looking. Yeah, he had a better ring. So we sort of played around with that whole kind of craziness, silliness.
I want to ask you and go back to Star Wars.
For a lot of folks to see a plain person on the screen. To my mind, our experience with. But you can't go to, I want to look at the
Animated series of you playing Lando in Star Wars Rebels, but it opened you up to a whole different audience. It opened you up to my son. Did not know you from Lady Sing the Blues and Mahogany, but recognized your voice through this animated character. So can you talk about coming back to a role that you actually portrayed on film, and now you're doing this animated version with different audience?
Last movie, what's it called?
Star Wars Rebels. It was the animated TV series.
No, he asked me to come back. I was looking forward to it because I had an opportunity to work with J.J. Abrams. He's a lot of fun, and I even I get a kick out of just watching him grow. Even though I have to do what I have to do. I mean, there's a part of me that takes a pause and watches him get involved in trying to put an idea together. But no, listen, it paid me a lot of money. And I'll do anything for money. I'm a capitalist.
I do want to ask you.
I mean, the fact that you use your painting
As a way to express yourself. I mean, you have
this incredible gift of putting these colors and these images onto the canvas. Can you talk about that process?
Putting images on
yes, the work you do as a painter.
Well, I'm interested in everything and everybody. I've since I was a child, I lived this sort of eclectic life. Where I was embracing so many things that probably most people don't embrace in their whole lifetime. So that's why one of the reasons we wanted to put this together, because it's a very interesting life. people behavior, um, the certain realities of human nature and certain absurdities in that reality, certain abstractions of reality that I am always trying to interpret. Um, I like there was one character I came up with that I spent a little bit of time painting. I call him the bon vivant. He's a character that strolls. He's like me with his cane, strolling through life, observing uh, the realities that we live through every single day of our lives, but also the absurdities of that reality. And I'm a big fan of absurdity. As a matter of fact, I describe myself as a walking absurdity, which for some people it sounds like something negative. For me, it's not negative. It means that I leave myself open to experiencing things in hmm, a way that it opens me up to a lot of experiences. I'm not explaining it properly, but um,
No, but I get what you're talking about in terms of walking through this whimsical spirit with the character you have with the cane.
I got to figure things out.
Figuring it out.
I mean, a great hero to me is like there's one movie actor I used to like to watch in films, Marcello Mastroianni. Um, when he played heroes, and the kind of hero I like is a hero who's always trying to figure how to rectify something, and you as a spectator you sit there and you wonder if he's going to get through it, and but he manages to get through it. But that's a certain kind of vulnerability, and that kind of vulnerability I think is sometimes we're afraid to express. Everybody wants to be a hero, but I think the great heroes, the heroes who really have a difficult time, and they try to figure out how to, get through a certain situation, and you cheer for them when they finally do get through the situation. But vulnerability to me is a very important part of who you. At least I can only speak for myself. I don't speak for anybody else. I mean, my sense of vulnerability is I don't mind being absurd. I don't mind being not smart. I don't mind being somebody who doesn't know what the hell I'm doing. Because then I got to figure out how to do what I don't know what to do. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does make sense. It makes sense. It makes a lot of front row. It makes a lot of sense. It makes me think. You mentioned JJ as a director that sometimes when you were working with him, you would stop and watch the work he was doing. This idea that you have been in front of the camera or in front of the canvas, from that other perspective in terms of telling a story, is there a story that you have always wanted to tell that you haven't told yet?
Well, I always wanted to do Duke Ellington.
Hmm.
Yeah, I always felt like I was the only person that could really pull that one off. Because I understand that sense, I understood that sensibility. It's an old-fashioned sensibility, and I come from that. I come from that world. My father, was a real kind of even a hard-working man. I come from a working-class family, which I'm very proud of. But he was a dude, and a man who was very. I didn't say much, but you felt his energy, his strength. And I always admired that about him. And he was part of that era the hat, wearing the hat. That hat was very important. He was an old Texan. His name was December D, Big D, Big Bill. And my grandfather, his father, was Darling Williams, who ran a bunch of Ku Klux Klanners off his property. But the kind of people that I come from, the men I come from, I saw one of them last night, as a matter of fact. My cousin Lonnie. I was so happy to see him. In that family, he's one of those people I really admire. I'm going off here, but my father was a hardworking man, but he never he was unpretentious, never put on airs, never. People liked him a lot because he was just a simple. As a matter of fact, my mother used to call him corn-fed. I guess that's an old Southern kind of expression. There's something else that goes with it. Anyway, he worked. All I remember about my father, he worked very hard, always. But he always devoted one day, and that was the Sunday, to everybody, all of us, my sister and my mommy. We would go on picnics. We would go to the Palisades Park. We would go to do different little activities together. And he would, every Sunday, he loved cooking. And so he would cook 3 different meats on a Sunday. Was it turkey, ham, and some kind of beef. And he was poor when he grew up. So food was really a very sort of important thing then. But I don't know why I'm talking about all of this.
No, but you are walking us down this path, because for those of us who have followed you on the screen, it's being able to look behind the curtain, right? To see what's happening with the Wiz and how you got to be where you are. The stories of your father, because it's kind of helping me to understand even that work ethic. I mean, longevity, as Dr. King said, definitely has its place. You have had longevity in your career, which meant that every time you showed up to a role, you showed up and you completely immersed yourself in that. And that is very rare. So hearing about your father and the way he worked, you did the same thing. You just did it on film. And that's impressive. So what was it that birthed that feeling in you where you wanted to get in front of the camera and embody what it meant to be an actor?
I don't know. It was all by happenstance. I never looked for anything. Everything came to me. Every time I wanted to go to the left, there was something in my head said, "No, Billy, no, go to the right." So I think I've been very fortunate in that. I think that I was destined. I always felt like I was destined to do all of the things that I ended up doing. But I followed my instincts, in many cases. But for me, it was my relationship with my family, the mommy, daddy, lady, my sister, twin sister, and grandmommy. Those people were the people who shaped my life and my way of looking at life. And they were all different from each other. And so, but they were people who were elegant people. They had a lot of style, a lot of class. And I think I picked that up from them.
like that. I was just thinking as you're talking about what it is that you took from your family, the elegance and the style you definitely have. That is very clear. In addition to your advantages, because you talk about your mom and your dad, and you call them mommy and daddy, and your twin sister in the book, which is just so amazing. That connection. You talk about missing them still, and what that means for you. When you look at your career, are there any folks in your career, like kind of the people you looked up to, that you wanted to be like as you were growing up in the field, that you maybe had relationships with?
No, I mean, I was kind of happy about myself and who I was. The way things were taken. No, I always felt like I had something very interesting to sell. Um, and I think I ended up doing pretty good. Pretty well.
Pretty, you did. I wonder. um, One of the things I noticed when I looked back at interviews with you, you said you don't like to pick out one role that you enjoy. You look at all of them as paths. But is there one defining moment for you? Was it Star Wars? Was it Lady Sings the Blues? I mean, was there a defining moment where you said, I actually can do this? This is it. This is that point where I'm going to be able to do this for the rest of my life.
Every morning I get up and I said, "This is a defining moment."
I love it.
I just take a deep breath. Okay, let's see what I'm going to wear today.
So that does lead me to ask you about something you said to me
I
behind
like
the
to
curtain.
coordinate.
I know you do, and we are.
I complimented her on her scarf. I was actually trying to talk her out of that scarf.
I almost gave it to him. Almost. I asked you, do you still get nervous? And you said a little bit, sometimes yes, but most of the times no. Do you still get nervous when you come out? And you said you don't, because pretty much you don't care nothing about what people say about you, is what you said. But a young actor in the audience asked a question, and we ask the audience the questions. But there's a young person out here who wants to be an actor, and so they were asking, is there any advice that you give to a young person of color, who is starting in the field of acting now?
I would probably treat that normally as in a frivolous way. But I would say that if you're really serious about being a performer, I mean, I don't know what young people are thinking these days. Certainly, when I was coming along, I was part of the whole Stanislavski School of Acting, and all of that stuff. And New York was the place to go if you really wanted to exercise your ability as a performer on stage. I believe that people should. I mean, a lot of people don't feel it. I think going on stage is real important, and performing in front of a live audience is you can learn a lot about yourself as a performer. Um, I don't know. I think reading is very important. Um, Going to museums is very important. Um, Trying to learn as much as you can about the if you want to do film, for instance, I think editing is something that people should uh, learn because I think when you're putting a film story together, you have to know how to put it together through editing, and I think that's really important. But I think it's just living life and involving oneself in all kinds of activities that can contribute and feed into being a creative entity in this life. You know, I was always very interested in everything. I would go to concerts with flamenco dancing. I would And I love flamenco, tango. I mean, I would, I not only see the old artists, but I always took it, even today, take it to what young people are doing today as performers, because it all is. I mean, if you're gonna, I guess, perform for people, I guess you should have as much ammunition as you can possibly muster up and use it. All of this is out there. It's out there, you know, for us to use. And so you try to learn everything you can possibly learn. And as long as you don't get caught up in a lot of drugs and stuff like that, which, and you know, like the five, you know, when I came along, I thought about, developing the five senses, you know, seeing sense, tasting sense, smelling sense, touching sense, hearing sense, you know, making that acute, not cute, but acute. Acute too. You know, but you know, just keep all of it alive and working, because I think performing is it's not only painting the broad strokes, so to speak, but it's learning about nuance and subtlety, and that's what, in my opinion, tells the story. Nuance. You know, it's the tiny things that happen in our this process called life. For me, my also what I've decided on more than faith, because this feeds into faith. Science. I've always been intrigued with the whole idea of neutrons, the molecules, because all of the things that who we are is connected to the universe, and we are the universe. But again, I don't want to tell anybody how to go through, live their life. But my understanding about the life experience is based on everything around. When I look at everybody in this audience and I look at ourselves on stage, it's we're all connected in ways that we don't even realize. And I think it's a question of how do we treat each other, and carry that into the cosmos, so to speak. Wow, everybody's quiet.
We are walking this journey with you.
Like I'm really saying something real important.
We are walking this path with you into the cosmos. We are there.
My name is not Jesus. So.
I guess to bring you back from the cosmos, let me ask you a question.
Talking about Jesus, though. I mean, everybody sort of missed the whole point. And historically, everybody missed the whole point about Jesus.
And so what is the whole point?
Well, the whole point is this was somebody who was giving lessons about being nice, being kind,
being held accountable,
and being helpful. We took all of that stuff and decided to create wars.
Yes.
What is that all about?
Okay, so then
You
that
tell
is.
me, doctor.
Yeah, well, I threw back my shoulder going, okay, we can go there. But in thinking about what that means, because you went to talking about Jesus, and what does it mean when you start connecting to the teachings of Jesus, beyond just being nice, beyond just being helpful? What does that mean to be centrally connected to what does it mean to live
Out that experiment
called life,
called
to
to
actually
actually commit yourself.
as a
As
Christian
a
to
Christian,
say
say
everything
everything
I
I
do,
do, I wake up in the morning, what you talking about?
at
At
this
this
moment,
moment,
what can
what
I
can I
do to
do
draw
to draw
closer
closer
to
to
who
who
I
I
believe in?
believe in?
How
How
can I
can I
come
come
closer
closer
today
today
than I
than I
was
was
yesterday?
yesterday?
What
What
did I
did I
do
do
yesterday
yesterday
that
that
moved me
moved me
farther
farther
in that relationship, which is
which is
beyond
beyond
just
just
being nice and helpful? Some people are
people
very
are
nice and
very
helpful,
helpful
and they
and they
still
still
have
have
no
no
core
core
around who
around
they are morally or who they are at that moment. But
but
to
to
pull us
pull us
back a little
back
bit and then ask you about the work you did on the book. Because what have we here? Portraits of your life. You actually gave pieces of your life story. Portraits. So I want to know what is it? Why did you choose at this moment to put your life down? Is this kind of this stamp moment? You know what? I want to leave something in my own words, not just the words I put on screen when an actor is speaking the words that come out, but this is me. Beyond my artwork, this is how I have seen my life unfold. Can you talk about that process today?
I don't know. It's you reach a certain point in your life, you just start thinking about basic. And if you've done things and seen the things that I've seen and done, which I would consider pretty unique. Um, I just felt like maybe I should talk about it, tell people a little bit about myself, because then what most people know about me is what they see in the movies. But uh, I know part of it is wanting people to know something about me that they didn't know about me. Part of it is it was an exercise and just talking about a kind of the uniqueness that, as I said earlier, that a lot of people have not had the privilege to experience. Um, and I guess I really want to talk about this in some small way, that we should spend more time. I don't say that we should spend more time. I just want to let people know that I spend more time trying to figure out how you can connect experiences in a way so that you are making the living or life experience more inclusive, more um, fun, interesting. Um, that life is not just based on one thing or the other, but there's this whole wonderful area that you can play in. When you're a painter, for instance, you see colors, you see shadings, you see. Uh, I mean, I learned about math through my painting. I was terrible with math, but as a kid growing up, but when I apply it to what I'm trying to express in a painting, I'm playing with depth, feel, playing with vertical, horizontal, diagonal. I'm playing with shading. Uh, there's so much in the life experience that I think sometimes we miss out on because we're so busy, like fighting to hold on to this point of view as opposed to this one. And there's all of this other stuff that's going on that you're just overlooking. And I guess I really wanted to kind of say that in this little book.
But in writing the book, who are you writing it for? A grandchild, a son or daughter? Writing it for yourself, future generations? Who were you writing to when you sat down at that table?
Everything. Me? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just a little boy trying to figure it all out. I'm a little old man, little boy trying to figure it all out. I'm still a little kid. I mean, I'm 87 years old in April, and my mind is still pretty good. I'm just trying to put all of this stuff all the mathematics together, the physics, and all of these things together. I guess really sometimes I really, my mother and my sister, they were Jehovah's Witness, and they had a picture of where they were going to go. My sister was worried that I would not, because I didn't embrace Jehovah the way she embraced Jehovah. She worried that I would not find my way. But I have my way of looking at things, and my way of looking at things is, I'm working on it. I'm constantly working on it because, I still have when I go to sleep, I have nightmares, and I say, I hope I don't get caught in the middle of one of these nightmares. The final moment comes. You're having a bad dream, and all of a sudden you go out. How did I get here? And how do I get out of here? So I'm a little preoccupied. Holy Christmas. Sometimes I wish I wasn't as crazy as I am. This gets scary sometimes.
Then how do you stay grounded? So if it gets scary sometimes, what is it that keeps you grounded? Is it your family? Is it your body of work? Is it your painting? What keeps you grounded?
Well, yeah, my family, but also Marcy Fine keeps me grounded. We've known each other for 38 years or something like that. And she's like my best friend. And she takes care of all of our businesses.
She's sitting on the front row, folks. He keeps pointing out to her.
But, there are certain people you find and you learn to find that really who have your, how do you say it? Who watch out for you?
Watch your back.
Yeah, they watch your back.
Take care of you.
Yeah.
She's one of them.
Yeah, she's certainly one of those people in my life. Because I'm not the smartest person in the whole world. That's for sure. And I don't pretend to be. But at the same time, I'm no fool.
So you've said a couple of times in our conversation, you said, I'm just trying to figure it out. And I think about 3 or 4 times you said that. Figure what out? Figure out your purpose, figure out what
Thing is about,
figure out what you're going to
spend, what are you actually trying to figure out?
that keeps you so preoccupied.
Okay, talk about libraries. To me, the brain is like a library. You have all of these experiences, and you put all of these experiences into this library, negatives, positives, and hopefully you got more positives than negatives. And to me, that's the whole idea is to create this more productive, positive world. Because I think beyond the brain, there's a thing called the mind. And to me, the mind is the key to the next step in terms of the universe. So I want to be in a, when that final moment comes in my life, I don't want to be in a state of flux. I want to feel comfortable about the fact that I'm leaving. Uh, well, it's like Siddhartha. It's like Khalil Gibran. You know, when I forget the lady's name, says he's leaving, the prophet is leaving. And she says, before you leave, tell us some kind of, something that we can use. And he ends up, I'll meet you. And he ends up saying, people of Orphalese, of what can I speak, save of that that's moving in your mind, something like that, that's moving in your mind. In other words, you already know. But I think to know, you have to somehow devote really seriously, at least for me anyway, I have to devote seriously to this whole quest of doing this rather than this. I have to do this. I have to know what it is, what that feels like. That to me is going to take me, for me, I think my own way of thinking is going to take me to, I don't want to argue anymore. I don't want to bicker. I don't want to fight. I just want, when I was a little boy, I used to have dreams about being in the First World War. And then those dreams lasted for a while, and then they got rid of those dreams. I got killed in a trench, the First World War. But I stopped having those dreams at some point. And I've always felt like I would never ever go to war again. And it's true. I even was being drafted, and I didn't have to go and serve. Thank goodness. Because what's worse to me than getting killed is killing someone. That I never, I never want to do that. I don't want to hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt anybody. That's the worst thing that could ever happen to a living individual, it seems to me. Anyway, I'm sorry.
So if I may, I want to come back to the book, and I want to ask you just perhaps some lighter questions. as we begin to wrap up. Because I do have a couple of other questions that perhaps some lighter questions, something maybe more whimsical, because lighter, a little bit lighter, so lighter questions. Because I could sit here with you and we can deep dive because I love doing that. But I just want to come out of it for a moment and ask you some other questions specifically. Yeah, let's get out of the ditch. I'm here, have tears in my eyes with Billy Dee Williams. This is not a good look for me. So instead, I want to ask you about the cover. And you all have one. And you see this amazing cover of you in the cape, looking back. Can you talk a little bit about who chose the cover? Why that? I mean, that is a quintessential Billy Dee Williams picture and poem. Some of us have that turned up by our bed. I'm not going to say who, okay? Nobody's confessing tonight. But I want to talk to you about just the cover of the book and kind of the thinking behind that.
Well, actually, we had the first cover we had was from I did an album back in 1961, and they wanted to use that picture from the album. I never really liked it, but I'm glad they decided to go with this one because I think this one is really says it all in terms of this whole idea of myself, a heroic figure with. I mean, it's like bigger than life, and that's how I tend to, I suppose, see see myself. This sort of bigger than life kind of heroic figure, but I do it with a little chuckle.
Now, out of all the iconic lines that you have given in so many movies, of course, I've already told you the one I love, but the fact that you chose What Happened to You, which of course goes back to the first time you kind of spoke about Princess Leia, but whose idea was it for that particular title, the thinking behind that?
Hello, what have we here? Well, I thought about what have we here is that reading, but it also applies to my life and what I've experienced in my life. Like I'm saying, like in some sort of whimsical way, I'm saying, oh, what have we here? So it's like that. That's like that. But both of them work.
I want to share something from the book. Go ahead, sir. While you're getting that, I'm gonna grab my copy. I'm gonna grab your copies as well. I'm gonna go there. Go ahead, sir.
No, I think if I think if you're going to sell an idea, you gotta come up with something people are going to respond to.
And people automatically know what it means. They remember that scene. That's an iconic scene.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing. It was very flirtatious, very light, and some of us.
I mean, to be as cute as I was, and
yes.
Walking up to some girl and saying, "Hello." That's pure romance.
It was. It absolutely was.
I always say I have never declared myself a stud. I will never see myself as a stud. As a romantic figure, yes, but not as a stud. Stud is too easy. That's too easy. Anybody can be a stud.
Now, you on Dancing with the Stars, someone said you had swagger, and you said, "Well, do I have swagger?" And you absolutely do. I mean, I don't use stud, but you absolutely do have swagger. You have made grown men weep, and women just go crazy. It's. Are you? You were sitting in that scene where Diana Ross was standing in the middle, and she wanted to sing, but she looked really nervous. And you sat there and you cocked your eyes at her to give her the encouragement, and she began to sing "Them Their Eyes." It's the way you're walking in mahogany. You have that cashmere coat across your shoulder. Diana Ross. Oh,
You really got it down.
let me tell you. It's when you said, "Are you gonna let my arm fall off?" and all of us reach for the screen at the same time. That's the swagger I'm talking about. I mean, is there any amens here? Come on. That's the swagger that I'm talking about.
That is funny.
And I promised him I wouldn't fangirl again.
Oh boy, that's interesting. Wow, if I had not heard it, I would not believe it. But anyway, okay,
Yes. I'm
that's
telling you.
swagger, I guess, huh?
There's a reason my mother wanted to fly up here tonight. I was like, Mom, you cannot fly up here. I'll tell Billy you said hi. So my mom said hello. But I want to go to something in the book. And I know everyone has the book. I'm going all the way to the end of the book. And there's a picture, of course, of Billy Dee. But when you talk about advice, the last piece of the book, you said one advice. Don't worry so much. I believe the kids today have a chance to fix things the older generation screwed up. I hope they can do better, and the possibility they can is reason enough for me to be optimistic. Enjoy life. It's a gift, an astonishing, mysterious, beautiful, absurd gift. No one has ever figured out a reason or purpose, but we do know its pleasures. Open yourself to humanity. Be kind. Be curious, fall in love, search for wonder, live bright, be beautiful. Chandelier, baby, chandelier. Now, you talked about that in the beginning of the book, about reaching for the chandelier. I want you just to kind of hear your words back.
Because I was really moved by that. I went through, I was highlighting, be happy, be optimistic, like you can always look for the good.
I just want you to kind of speak about that, kind of get to the end of the book and say, reaching for something a little bit higher than yourself.
It kind of says what it needs to be said, I think. No, just getting back to actually what I'm this. That's most important. And I think that's the thing that takes you to all of the beautiful, wonderful places that you want to travel through. And the chandelier is, it was a wonderful jazz musician that I spent a lot of time talking with, Clark Terry, who was a great trumpeter. And I used to love talking to him. He's from the with Lester Young, pork pie hat. And they all had a kind of a language that they created. And the chandelier comes from something that Lester Young said. It's like saying to somebody, how you doing today? Rather than you trying to explain how your day was, you say simply, chandelier. Well, what do you think of the chandelier? What do you think of it?
Something higher, bring in light.
Yeah.
Let me ask you before I get to my last question. So, what is it that brings you joy? Not what makes you happy, because happiness is sweet, but what brings Billy Dee Williams joy?
Well, I'm watching my grandkids growing up right now. That gives me a lot of pleasure. And my daughter and my son give me joy. Sometimes my ex-wives give me joy. Only sometimes. I'm just joking, folks. I don't know. Being alive gives me joy. I'm sitting above the earth. You know, I'm not underneath the ground somewhere. So I guess that gives me reason to have a little bit of
A
joy.
little bit of joy.
But you know, the people that you surround yourself, end up surrounding yourself with, that you trust, they trust you, and there's no difficulty. You're just looking after each other. It's simple, really. It's no big thing, really. It's very simple. Simple things that give you joy. Simple little things. You know, like getting up.
And get up. You're not cute, I know.
They give you a lot of joy.
It does. So my last question,
And actually, before I tell you my last question,
I just
I
have
have
to
to
say,
say thank you.
to just have the opportunity to sit down with you. I have a
a checklist of people going back to my childhood
I wanted to interview. I started on a radio
when I
station,
was 13.
and you were on that list. And so I've been waiting to have this conversation.
With you for years. So
Thank you for writing this book.
thank you.
Life.
And thank you for
All girls around the world
you know, I want a man.
to look. If you're not looking like that baby at me, I gotta question in it. Thank you for your body of work. And thank you for taking your craft
So serious.
It's really been a pleasure watching you do this.
Well, Doc, you're a wonderful lady, and it's been my pleasure to meet you and be interviewed by.
We're recording this.
You are a formidable figure in this life energy force, and may the force be with you.
So sometimes you can't ask for a better ending. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Dee Williams.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Bless you. May the force be with you.